Welcome to the another exciting episode of the Agency Insider Show. I'm your host Navneet Kaushal, and today we have a guest who needs no introduction in the world of digital marketing. Joining us is the one and only Neil Patel, a name synonymous with success in SEO, digital marketing, and personal branding. So let's welcome Neil Patel to the Agency Insider Show. Neil, thank you for joining us today. We are thrilled to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Neil, you have been one of the most inspiring entrepreneurial stories out there, from humble beginning to becoming a global authority in digital marketing. Looking back, what was the most significant turning point that made you realize you could succeed in this industry, and how did that shape the way you approach building your brand?
There was no one real turning point. I got started early when Google was in its infancy. I got started early when there was no Facebook. And as I was seeing things grow, I was going through ups and downs, of course, with business, but I was seeing more and more traction over time, and I adapted with what was happening to the market. I rode some trends which helped out. And over time, things just started slowly getting better. There wasn't really a turning point. It wasn't all of a sudden things started doing better, started getting better. It was more so they just slowly and gradually started moving in the right direction. And sometimes it would move up, sometimes down, but over time it was going in the right direction.
Okay, okay. Of course, you have built a globally recognized personal brand in the digital marketing space. So, what do you think are the foundational elements you believe contributed to building a brand that resonates so strongly with the people?
I don't know if I built a brand that really resonates that strongly.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the key to building a personal brand is just to be transparent and authentic. It's just like those people who produce all this fancy content and spend an arm and a leg. It's better to just use your phone and, film content, be real and authentic and just put it out there.
Okay, so when you create content, everything, do you spend a lot of time, or you just do out of it?
I just record, or my team comes and records with a camera. I just shoot. There's not really tons of edits or cuts or anything like that. And over time, they adjust it here and there, make some modifications, and add some editing here and there. But we don't spend tons of time to release content.
Okay. So, personal branding, of course, is more important than ever in today's business environment. How can agencies leverage their leaders' personal brand to attract more clients and stand out from the competitors?
I don't think personal branding helps that much to attract customers. What really helps is having good experience within that sector or field. For
Okay.
example, if you want to work with Azure, right, Microsoft's cloud computing unit, if you have great case studies with AWS or Google's cloud division, it makes it easier to work with Azure. On the flip side, if you're starting out, it's too hard to get AWS, Azure, or even Google as a customer. So you're going to have to
Right.
start off with smaller corporations within the space and slowly work your way up.
Okay. So it's the personal branding helps just not to get the foot in the door, but I think to help close the deals or
No,
no?
the personal branding helps get the foot in the door in the early stages, but it doesn't really help that much to get big contracts or big corporations to work with you. It helps with get a
Okay.
lot of small and medium businesses. The big corporations don't care. They don't care who Neil Patel is or Navneet is. Like, I'm not trying to say that in a
No.
mean way. All they actually care is who on Navneet's team or Neil's team has done this before in our industry and can show proven results so that way there's less risk. That's all they really care for.
I agree. I agree. Right. So let's talk a little bit about AI. Of course, you these days talk yourself about AI. So I mean, you've been quite vocal about that. You mentioned that AI will change SEO significantly. What's your prediction on how AI will influence search algorithm and ranking strategies in the next couple of years?
So first off, marketers are using AI to create content at scale. We're seeing more marketers use AI to create content than not create content. which means the majority of the content that marketers are creating are AI generated or AI assisted, in which it's AI combined with a human. We're seeing roughly a 5.44x difference in AI traffic versus traffic an AI article gets versus a human, in which the human one is averaging 5.44 times more monthly search traffic. There's a big difference there. It looks
Right.
like the algorithms want more human written content than AI written content. We also did an interesting experiment with roughly 1.8 million visitors. The content was all written by humans, but for a third of the traffic, we put written by AI, even though it was the same article and it was written by a human.
All
The
right.
read time dropped by a little bit more than a half. It just shows it doesn't matter what people say. If they know it's written by AI, they don't really want it. Now, the next thing to mention is these algorithms are quite advanced and sophisticated. They've been adapted when it comes to search. Um, they've already integrated AI into their results. And we're seeing an increase in traffic with Google's rollout of AI overviews, not a decrease, because you can optimize for being mentioned in the AI overviews, which is generating more traffic. And overall, when we look at our clients across the board, we've seen a slight increase, a little bit more than 1%. Not a big increase by any means, but not a drop. And everyone's like, oh, AI is going to crush the search traffic. We haven't seen it yet. How are they going to use AI in their algorithms? That I don't know. Time will tell. But they're mixing not just AI in there, they're also using social content like short form videos, podcasting type content. The list goes on and on.
So, I mean, do you think AI tools like GPTs or other can eventually replace human-led SEO and content creation? Or do you believe there will always be a need for human touch in the digital marketing?
I think there'll always be a need for a human touch. I'm not saying AI can't replace a lot of tasks, but AI is also only as good as the person using it. There's a lot of average humans. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just the reality.
Right.
You give the 1 percentile, right, from an IQ standpoint and creativity standpoint, AI, sure, they're going to have much better use of it than the average person out there. So it matters who's using it. And when humans create content and information, they have something called experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And it's hard for AI to include that with content that's generated. So do I think it
Right.
can fully replace humans? No. Do I think it'll get better and better over time? Yes. Do I think it'll be able to do a lot more than it can do today? Yes. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. And so, what areas of digital marketing do you think are most vulnerable to the AI disruption right now?
Creative. We think creative is going to be disrupted the most. And when you look at the second piece, we're going to see content creation being very disrupted. Third, data and analytics. They're not in any really particular order, other than I think creative is going to be impacted the most. But creative, content, data, and analytics, I think are going to be the big three that are going to be affected drastically.
Okay. And how do you think agencies should prepare for this shift?
Adapt, leverage the technologies, get good at it.
Okay.
Because like even corporations, even if they know these changes are happening, I'm seeing a lot of corporations reach out to agencies saying, hey, we want to create a campaign using AI, can you do it for us?
So they are not like AI. They are not averse to AI. For example, I mean, in our agency, we don't want AI to be used everywhere, but the large corporation doesn't have those issues.
No, we're seeing sometimes they want it, but most large corporations, we're seeing them say don't use AI to create our content or creatives. Their main reason being is not that they're opposed to it, they just don't want any legal liabilities in case there's any plagiarism issues.
Right, right. That makes sense. Let's talk about how AI is influencing personalization. So, how do you think agencies can leverage AI for hyper targeting, targeted marketing, while still maintaining a sense of authenticity in their messaging?
So with a lot of the ad channels that you buy ads from, whether it's Google, Performance Max, Facebook has their own version of AI, they will help you with the targeting, and that combined with humans, you can make the campaigns pretty amazing. Where AI is really going to help is Imagine customizing a landing page for every single visitor. That takes a lot of work and that's hard to do. It's easier for
Right.
AI to do things like that. That's where you're going to see the personalization go to the next level. Not just emails, but websites, the landing page, the person visiting, how often are they visiting, what page do they land on, what are they looking for based on their emails and their past behavior. You can adjust everything based on that individual. That's where AI will really come in handy.
Okay, right. So let's talk about a little bit about the future of SEO. I mean, of course, you've seen the SEO landscape change dramatically over the years, from simple on-page optimization to complex strategies. So, I mean, SEO has evolved rapidly. But what do you see as the single biggest factor that will define SEO success in the next, let's say, 5 years?
I think as a business, if you want to do well in SEO, you need to create content of all types. A lot of businesses are stuck on text-based content, but if you look at Google, they're trying to index podcasts and rank them. They're trying to rank short form content, long form videos, short form being short form videos, images. You know, if you're not creating all types of content formats, you're not going to do well in the new age of SEO. When there's a video at the top, above the fold in Google search results, the video is clicked on more than anything else. You can't just rely on creating text-based content.
Right, right, right. And does it mean also, does it matter where all it get distributed as well?
It does. You need to take an omni-channel approach. Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X. You got to make sure ChatGPT is crawling your stuff as well, right? You got to pretty much leverage all the major channels out there.
Okay. And with the rise of voice search and AI-based algorithm, how should agencies rethink their SEO strategies to remain competitive? And are there any areas where you think agencies are underinvesting?
You should leverage all the platforms that your potential customers are on. Does that mean an SEO agency is under, leveraging a specific platform? It really depends on the client type. For example, in my business, it doesn't make sense for my ad agency to leverage Alexa that much. But if I was e-commerce, why wouldn't you want to try to generate sales from Amazon's Alexa? Because
Right.
voice commerce is booming. But you got to pick and choose depending on the industry and the business that you're in.
Right.
And is the agency leveraging all of them? Well, depends on the agency, right?
Okay. You always been advocating for creating high value content. Uh, as AI driven content tools become more popular, do you think there will be a need for a new standard in defining quality content in SEO?
Quality content, I think, has always really been the same. If you can delight the user and create something that just knocks their socks off, you've done a good job creating content.
And I mean, of course, the way Google is updating, it's actually not rewarding quality content. So, what is your take on that? I mean, you saw the statement today as well.
I haven't seen any statements today, but
So Danny said that the algorithm is still evolving. Don't do any changes on your website. Stop for that, and we will be tweaking again and coming back with more changes. So the small, and they say not everybody will get left behind, but that actually means they are agreeing that yes, they screwed up a lot of things. So that's what.
yes, but they did some changes recently that's brought back a lot of websites traffic.
Yes.
And is Google algorithm perfect? No. Do I think that it'll get better over time? Sure. Um, I don't pay too much attention to what Danny Sullivan from Google, right, Google Search Liaison or others say. I don't pay too much attention to what Google makes in a single change. I'm not talking about changes over time because just like everyone else, we're humans and we make mistakes. But if you really do what's best for the user, in the long run, you should win. Not in the short run. You could have some bad quarters, bad years, but in the short run, right, you may lose, but in the long run, you should win. That's the key in marketing. You can't just say, man, this algorithm change happened, my traffic went down. I'm going to change my strategy. Well, if you're doing what's best for the users and someone else isn't, and they're winning, well, keep doing what you're doing because eventually these algorithms will have to adapt to what's best for users.
Right. 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 Now let's talk about a little bit about link building. Of course, some people says that link building is becoming less relevant with the AI and AI overview which Google is introducing, while other believe still critical. Where do you stand on the importance of link building in SEO moving forward?
We see it very important. We don't see sites without links that rank well. If no one builds any links, we do not see that site ranking well. For somewhat competitive terms, forget competitive terms. I'm even talking about even average, keywords that are somewhat competitive. If a site doesn't want to build any links and has zero backlinks, we do not see them ranking well, period.
Yep,
And
agree with
this doesn't matter, what you think or I think or what Google says. This is just the reality of the data.
right. And I also believe that that's what Google fundamentally based on links. So I don't think that's going to go away. The algorithm is built on links and crawling, right?
Yeah, it may not be the most important factor, maybe a top 10 factor or top 20 factor, but right now it looks like it's much more than a top 10 factor. How high up? Who knows? But it's definitely within the top 10, and it's not number 10, 9, or 8 or anywhere that low on the list.
Right. I agree with you on that. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the agencies and the changing digital landscape. Like, a lot of people say SEO is dead. A lot of agencies think SEO is not right boat to be in or is the right services to be in. Now, and of course, how has your approach to running an agency evolved since your early day in the industry till, now?
It hasn't evolved much. You in an agency, it's all about the customers, over delivering, trying to satisfy them. But where I would say the biggest thing that's changed for me, and it hasn't really changed, just for me, it's changed for all agencies,
Mhm.
is there's no longer just Google as a platform or Facebook. There's just so many that you got to optimize for and do well for your clients. But running an agency hasn't changed much over the 5, 6, 7 years. Sure, there's new technologies like AI and you got to leverage them, but there's always been changes, whether it's algorithms or new tools or technology, you just got to embrace them. I think the biggest change when you look at ad agencies is a lot of them focus on profitability versus focusing on servicing their customers. Most agencies focus on generating new revenue and closing new customers versus keeping your existing ones happier and expanding those. They're focusing on the wrong stuff.
Okay. And what do you believe are the key differentiating differentiators that have allowed NP Digital to grow so rapidly in the competitive agency landscape?
Really good team. My CEO used to head up iProspect, which was one of the largest agencies out there. He was the
Right.
president of iProspect. Our
Okay.
COO was a COO of Merkle, iProspect, and 360i. You know, a lot of our team members are experienced. Our head of APAC used to run Canada and Australia for iProspect. Our head of Canada used to run Canada for iProspect. We have
Okay.
executives from everywhere. Dentsu, Publicis, WPP. Most are managing directors. We're managing directors at one of these large corporations. Like our head of LATAM used to run one of the large agencies in LATAM for WPP.
Okay. That's interesting. So most of these agencies were, are quite big. And when I started, these were the agencies we were looking to. I know early 2000, these were the agencies, right? Now, has your business been affected by recent Google algorithm and updates? In a positive or a negative way?
No, it's really stayed the same.
Okay.
What's changed our business more than anything isn't the Google algorithm updates, it's more so the interest rates and the economy. It makes it harder to close customers, the sales cycle's longer. We're seeing things like that from the economy being bad.
And the inflation also, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes. So are there any specific markets like besides the US which are seeing much better growth than the US, or they all are same?
Our number one market that we're seeing growth in is India. The rest of the world, we're seeing struggles. India, we're seeing a boom, but
Okay.
not as big of a boom as they're telling everyone, right? Everyone's saying India is a very rapid growing economy. It's still growing, but it's
Right.
had a lot of licks in the last year or two in which startups overraise, overspent. They're not as profitable as they were claiming. A lot of
Right.
mismanagement of finances in India. This has made a lot of investors worry about India and caused a lot to pull back, which is causing slower growth in that market from what we're seeing.
Right. You have, I guess, an office in Bangalore.
Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai.
Ah, okay. So do you often visit India?
Uh-huh. Like 3 times a year, 4 times a year.
Okay. And so, what advice would you give to agency owners looking to scale their business today, particularly in a highly competitive market?
The advice I would give to agency owners is verticalize and specialize. So, for example, you can say, I'm going to do marketing just for D2C. I'm going to do marketing just for pharmaceuticals. I'm going to do marketing just for B2B SaaS,
Yeah. So
right?
that's my next question was the why have you not niched down? I mean, or it's not
I
no need to
wouldn't
do
do
it.
I would follow the advice and not copy me. The reason I say that is I started with a pretty big following and a brand.
Mm,
Not a big following like a Kardashian or Tony Robbins or anyone like that, but big enough within the space of digital marketing. So I had an influx of leads before I started. Before I started the agency, we were getting more than 10,000 leads a month of people wanting help with marketing. So all around the world. So it's not like, we lacked leads. That was never the real issue.
okay. So right. So but otherwise, if the agencies really want to grow fast, the niching down is something which you would recommend, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Uh, of course, you have worked with massive global brands and smaller businesses. What's one thing that agencies often overlook when pitching to a larger enterprises that could make a huge difference in winning contracts?
You need to have a really good team on the account. So most people believe it's just the pitch or the price. When you're pitching large enterprises, they care who's actually doing the work. So showcasing, hey, here are the people pitching you. Here's our backgrounds and bios and experience within your space. And we're also going to be the ones servicing your account. So showcasing who is going to be on the account is very important and is a big deciding factor for large corporations. But
So,
bigger agencies already know this. It's the smaller ones who are going upstream that tend to not know this or forget about it.
this is when they bring their team while pitching, or after the first pitch, or right from day
No,
one.
it's all the way from pitching to even doing the work. They ideally want the people who pitch to also do the work. It just
Okay.
makes things simpler.
Right.
They want to
Right.
also know who's on the account, who's doing my data analytics, who's doing the SEO, who's doing the paid advertising, who's doing whatever service they're paying you for. They want to know the exact people who are doing the work. That's more common with large contracts.
All right. And what emerging marketing channels or technologies are you most excited about for agencies to explore?
Yeah, what I'm really excited agencies to explore is global marketing campaigns. Most agencies like in India will be like, we're an India agency or we're an India agency that does outsource work. Instead of, hey, India is a big market and so is the rest of APAC. How can we help do APAC campaigns for our clients? How can we help do global campaigns for our clients?
So you are right. So either they think, I mean, of course, I'll be in the same boat. So most of my business comes from the US. So yes, that's true. I would say agree on that one, right? Uh, Looking ahead, what are the core skill or tools that agencies should invest in now for future proofing their business for the next 5 and 10 years, 5 to 10 years?
There's not any specific tools. Not one
Okay.
tool is going to future proof your business. AI is changing so fast and these tools are changing so fast. You just need to keep up with the best tools that work the best.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the future of NP Digital. What are your goals for NP Digital over the next 3 to 5 years?
Continually just grow globally. We're having a lot of fun, do more of what we're doing. But yeah,
Okay. In how many countries you have your office now?
I think 19 or 20,
Okay. And I think you have around 700 employees, right?
1,000 plus.
1,000 plus. Okay. That might be the one. Okay. So if you are starting an agency from scratch today, what would you do differently based on what you know now?
I would do the verticalization that I talked about, and I
Right.
would hire more experienced people from day one who already worked at bigger agencies. A lot of the enterprise contracts come from relationships.
Okay. Uh, So let's go for a couple of minutes in a rapid fire question. This is the closing section of the site. Okay. Just answer first thing that comes to your mind. So question one, what one tool or software which is not built or owned by you, you can't live without?
Google Analytics.
Okay. What's the biggest SEO myth you wish would disappear?
That more content equals more traffic.
Who is someone in the digital marketing world that you think more people should be following?
Brian Dean. Amazing guy. I know a lot of people follow him, but he's a great marketer.
Okay. What's one book that changed the way you approach marketing?
Don't Make Me Think. I read it when I was really young.
Okay. Neil, this has been an incredible conversation. As we close, can you share what's next for you and NP Digital? Are there any exciting projects or trends you are focusing on right now?
Just the same old. We're expanding more services, more countries, just continually growing and having fun. Continually leveraging the new technologies that are out there and improving upon them as much as possible. But more than anything else, we're just enjoying what we're doing.
Thank you so much, Neil, for sharing your insights with us today. To all our listeners, make sure to follow Neil Patel for more game-changing marketing strategies. You can find links to his content and resources in the show notes. This has been the Agency Insider Show. Until next time, thank you.